Oh,
Okay.
hi. Are we actually live?
I don't know. How do we check?
There is a chat on the right. We could see if anybody is. Oh, there we are. We are live. I can see it now on my Twitch. Hi.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, because I'm not actually logged into the Twitch.
I pulled up the Twitch on my other laptop to see. Hi, if there's anybody there, can you say hi while we are figuring out our technicals?
We don't know.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa. This is my buddy Chris.
Hello.
Yeah, I am. Look, we're live. Oh, look how cute you look.
You're clearly talking to the Rick Astley painting behind you.
All right.
Oh, wait. I need to do a check.
I see two people, but it might be me and you.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that would be fine.
That's the question. So I'm not logged into Twitch.
Oh, well, then it's at least me and one other person.
And one other human.
Yeah.
Who it maybe has stepped away to, have a little bio break, or they're...
Could be.
They're something, walking their
dog. And I can see myself, I'm on a little bit of a delay there, and then I saw the bad view of my face, so I'm not going to look in that direction anymore. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, what are we doing?
What we are doing is we should be, it seems like we should be recording based on what I set up. And so...
Bang up job, by the way.
Thanks. You and me, Chris, are going to just chit chat for a few minutes. We're going to just chat. We're just going to hang out and see how this tech works. My internet is a little sketchy, as you know. So if it gets to the point where we can go over Git and GitHub and the branchiness and all that stuff, then that is amazing. And we will want to clip that later and make it its own video so people don't have, in case they don't have all day to just listen to us chat.
What?
I mean,
that is what other humans are for, isn't it?
Come on now.
Seriously.
Again, oh, you know what? I'm going to make a little ticker. Look at check this out. So on the right here.
Do it.
Yeah, because I think, it's two people. It could just be me and Jenna. Are you there? If you're there, can you let me know? Is there a chat that you can talk into? If anybody is there, please talk into the chat.
Ooh, it's like we're having a seance.
Yes. Is there somebody there? Put 2 emojis in the chat if there is a person there. Chris, I'm going to show you how. On the right of our screen here, if you go to text, you can add, my little logo is in front of it, but if you scroll down to ticker and you click show.
Oh, so good.
Or hide. That is being covered by my by the logo. Is there
the little logo?
We
can move that. We can move that.
We can. Yeah. My friend Rocio is there. Okay, now look, we see in the right there is the chat. Oh, perfect. Look at you. So smart. Rocio has joined us. Rocio is one of my classmates.
Hello.
She said something in the chat to let us know that she's here.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it shows up. All right.
Okay. Fancy. See? Look at us. Okay, so Rocio,
if I understand correctly, that's the Twitch chat showing up in this.
It is.
Situation.
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly. You understand correctly. You could like that. So what I'm gonna. So anybody else, if there is any other human, nope, there's just the one. Anybody else who shows up, if you apparently need to be logged into the following the stream person to be able to comment. Thank you, Rocio. We are just clearly figuring things out as we go.
It's like open mic nights.
It is. I mean,
that we didn't know we signed up for.
Right, except that we
did.
Here. Yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready? I had that prepared.
That's perfect.
Yeah, there we go. It's perfect. I love it.
Okay. So good. So good.
And now Rocio is LOLing. We appreciate it.
Wonderful.
We're just figuring this all out.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah. I mean, this is honestly better than what I would be doing, which is trying to find a good horror movie while consuming like a bag of candy.
What kind of candy?
So we were standing at the grocery store checkout line, and there were just big bags of Twix and big bags of Kit Kats.
And they came home.
They came home, and like,
did they go into your mouth?
A solid third of them are now part of me.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't. I felt terrible when I woke up this morning, which is why I went for a run right before this, because I'm like, I need to burn off some of this garbage. Yeah. Or punish it. One or the other.
No, not punish. Make it feel better. One hopes.
That. Yeah. Hey, what is this beverage? It says aha.
This is it's a flavored sparkling water, like just a bubble water. So it's like, what do you want at the grocery store? Can I get some bubble water? And this one is blueberry pomegranate. And I also have one on deck that's orange.
Excellent. I mean, it's clearly having a realization. It's having a moment.
Aha.
Oh.
Anyhow. Rocio is saying her internet is on and off. Well, that's fair. I mean, that's how Rocio has the same drink.
Has the aha. Hello, Rocio.
All right.
Yeah.
We could chit chat some more.
Sure.
Rocio, do you know if Jenny is coming? Jenny is on my team. Jenny is one of my teammates who we did that spread that I was telling you about. So, and Jenny and Rocio went to, I think maybe both of they both happen to live, so they're both in my cohort, and they both happen to live in Las Vegas. And so I think they went to their very first tech meetup. Is that right?
Whoa.
Chris? Yeah. And she's asking, Chris, where do you work? How did you get into the tech industry?
I will answer that question after I find out like what it's like living in Las Vegas.
Vegas, right?
Vegas, like the actual Vegas.
Actual Vegas.
I mean, it could be as simple as a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay. We will stand by.
We'll stand by. Or I can continue to answer the question. Oh, that's yes. This is like a seance. I love it.
It is like a seance.
I'm just going to continue to derail the conversation. Rocio, I will answer your question, but I did, in fact, watch a not terrible horror movie the other night. Ouija. I think that most people call it a Ouija because I don't know. Yeah. Like it rhymes with squeegee, but I say Ouija. But yeah. So you know, are there any entities here? Is there a presence here? Please make yourself known.
There's a presence here. Its name is Rocio.
And Rocio lives in Vegas, and it's fun.
Apparently, and she said when she was younger, she would party a lot. So you've been there a long time. Okay, cool. Now she has answered your question, Chris.
Oh man,
nice try.
Yeah. So let's see. I currently work for the company that makes SurveyMonkey, which, if you don't know, SurveyMonkey is a tool for sending surveys, collecting the data, and helping people who send the surveys analyze the data. The name of the company is Momentive. How did I get into the tech industry? Let's see. I couldn't do anything else out of college. I basically conned my way into a tech job. This was like the early 2000s. And basically a friend got me, sorry, I'm jumping the gun. I worked in tech support. I was hired as a tech support person at an internet service provider. This is back when people had to boop, 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 dial up on a modem. Whoa, that's the sound. Yeah. I was tech support, and then my boss found out that I could make changes to the website without breaking the website. So I got more programming tasks, and then I moved. Actually, that job was in Boulder, Colorado. I moved back to Atlanta, where a friend of mine got me an interview with a couple of guys that he met at a meetup, and they hired me after I convinced them that I knew how to program in Java.
Did you know how to program in Java?
No, not really. I mean, I knew enough. I took like one class in college, but I wasn't, maybe two of them, but that was like the required amount. You take 2 computer science classes. I wasn't good at it. I was actually very bad at it for a long time. But I got better. I committed myself to not sucking at it. And eventually that worked out.
Yeah. It seemed to work out okay.
Yeah, eventually. Who knows? Yeah.
So how long did you do that job?
So I have a long history of staying at jobs for way too long. That job, I was there for, the first programming job was 7 years, 7.5 years. And that was with a tiny company that we built web stuff, right? We worked a lot with marketing companies that were hired by big companies here in Atlanta, like Turner Broadcasting, the people who, TNT, if you know that television channel. Yeah. Do the kids these days know what a television is?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm old, so I don't know. Who can say what they know? But I know who can say.
But yeah, TNT, Coca-Cola, other big companies in the Atlanta area would hire us to do, for example, like sweepstakes websites, right? There were like 3 pages. Like one is the splash page, one is the sign up page. The third page is like the rules and regulations. So 7-ish years later, I then, another story for another time, managed to get an interview with the founder of a company called Big Nerd Ranch. And Big Nerd Ranch, they do consulting, but at the time they were much more known for their training, like training people how to build iOS apps and Android apps and Mac apps. And they didn't have anybody who knew anything about like building web stuff. And so I convinced the founder that, yes, not only can I do web stuff, but I can teach people web stuff. So he's like, you're hired. Thank you. So then I was at that job for, I think, like 6 or 7 years. And then I got more and more responsibilities, too many responsibilities. I wanted to focus on just teaching. And so I basically found a friend he was leaving the boot camp position where he was an instructor. And I talked to their bosses, his bosses, and was like, so I hear my buddy is leaving. I would like to apply for his position. And they hired me. And then 4.5, 5 years later, I'm at the company I'm working at now, Momentive. There you go.
Love it. So
I got to work on that. I need a more streamlined version of that.
Well, we're all here to work on that together because we all also need to come up with our like little concise bits. We're starting to talk interviews and we're all like, nah! Like, so tell me about yourself. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Like nothing even related to work, like I need to, anyways, I feel you. We are fascinated and we want to know everything. So that was a perfect amount of time to take for that.
Cool. Just an amuse-bouche.
What's that?
An amuse-bouche of my tech history.
Perfect thing for my bouche. I loved it. It was a very amusing bouche.
Can we do that on Twitch? Okay.
I'm sure they will let us know. So you had the job where you were learning stuff, and then you worked at Big Nerd Ranch, where I believe you met our mutual friend, the magical Brandy.
The magical and amazing, and yeah,
very fancy, magical Brandy. So you worked there for like how long?
I think it was like 5 years.
And you were teaching web development boot camp.
Yes.
Did you not also do something else while you were there?
Yeah, I was an engineer. I was a manager. We turned my course materials into a book eventually.
You wrote a book, is what I'm trying to say.
I did. It happened.
Yeah, I know.
I have a.
You're looking at the wall where they are.
I am. I've got like 3 extra copies. I have a copy downstairs along with a tiny trophy that I should show you one day.
Please do.
That I ordered for myself. and my co-author. So I technically wrote 4/5 of the book, and then my co-author wrote the last 5th in a technology that I cared nothing about. I was just like, Todd, you want to be my co-author? Todd is the guy that actually got me the interview with the tiny startup here in Atlanta. A year later, I got my bosses to hire him. And then when I went to Big Nerd Ranch a couple months later, I hired Todd. See how this works?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's who you know.
It is kind of, it is who you know. Because honestly, like if a manager, okay, so one of my jobs at Big Nerd Ranch was hiring engineers also.
Right.
If
so
you
Big Nerd Ranch did work for clients and taught.
Yes.
Boot camps.
Yeah. It was this weird, like, 2-prong business where we, a big chunk of the business was teaching. Like we would teach big companies, for example. I don't know if, I guess I can say this. There's been, news reports about it, but once upon a time, we were teaching companies like Google and Facebook how to build better iOS and Android apps, for example. Notice I didn't say web development. Let's see, where was I going? Oh yeah. So big chunk of business was that's corporate training, right? They would hire us and we would send a trainer out to teach dozens and dozens and dozens of their engineers. And then another part of the training was we would just hold regular open boot camps that cost a pretty penny. I mean, we're talking like, $5,000 or $6,000 for a week, but this included
for a week,
room and board. So like 5-day boot camp, but it's also like hotel and 3 meals, et cetera, et cetera.
Daily massage.
I wish. Sadly, no. The idea was that it's supposed to feel retreat style, because learning whilst in the context of your day-to-day life is tough, because like there's this mental context switch that you have to do, and it's tough because like life gets in the way. Perhaps you know what I'm talking
about.
Oh well. So for the I guess I don't even know what to call the like open boot camp other than that, just the regular week-long boot camp. That's where I did most of my teaching, and it wasn't very often. But yes, the other half of the business was consulting, where people would hire, a lot of startups would hire us to build like the first, here's a 3-letter acronym for you, the MVP, the minimum viable product, so that they could then show that to investors and then get, money and then hire their own engineering team. So there was, again, like you might notice this theme of building stuff that you have no context for and will be relatively short-lived. So learn fast, build quickly, launch it, and move on to the next thing. The difference between the first job and Big Nerd Ranch was, with Big Nerd Ranch, it needed to be much better code because we're handing it off to other engineers and they need to maintain it and then build on it and, grow it into an actual product. Whereas with building marketing stuff, it's just like, as long as the, super glue and duct tape holds for 2 months, for as long as the sweepstakes is running, we're good.
Rocio said, in reference to when we were talking about like it's who you know, and like you hired so and so and then you moved over and then brought in so and so. She said that that's what they told her and Jenny yesterday at the I don't even know. Tell us what that was, Rocio. Chris.
Yes.
Over to you while I rest my brain for just a second.
Over to me.
Over to you. Let me
yes.
take a pause while I figure out where I want to go next.
Cool. You do that. Do some figuring. So yeah, it very much is about who you know, because if you have somebody, this was how I was going to answer the question earlier. If you have somebody like a good employee and they recommend they vouch for their friends, one of their friends, you're like, sweet, I don't have to look through stacks and stacks of resumes. Awesome. Second, I have this, character reference, and I know that this person probably has decent work skills, and maybe they don't know our entire tech stack, but it sounds like they are teachable. Like those things, they're gonna do the work. They're gonna be they're eager to learn, and they're pleasant enough to hang out with. Then you're good. That's a solid. That's a solid hire. Bonus points for X, Y, or Z, whatever your company values specifically.
That's good to hear. It's cool. I love networking. A lot of people hate it. I love it. I mean, I just think of it as like making friends, which I like to do, and just connecting with people and asking them about their cats, mostly. As you
don't say.
What's that?
You don't say.
I do say. Okay, I feel like I don't remember if I've asked you this before, but there's lots of talk about like the technical interview parts of things. We are scared.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, just hold forth for a couple of moments on that.
Sure. All right. What it's okay to be scared, because it can be a scary experience because everybody does it differently, first of all. So second, you don't, and most importantly, you don't have to have the quote unquote correct answer. It's not a test. They're not testing your knowledge. What they're doing is they're trying to figure out where you're at, and also your ability to be, to work with them. And when I say work with them, I also mean working the problem itself. Like, oh yeah, I don't know this language, but it sounds like what we're going for is this feature. We want to build this feature. So I don't know, how do we, like, for example, something silly, like we're building a login page. Like, okay, so asking questions like, how many tries do they get? Or is it going to tell them if it's a valid login, and then we need to say, sorry, your password is incorrect? Or do we tell them flat out, like, there's no username like that, you should sign up? Again, just sort of thinking through like something bigger than the problem you're presented. Yep. Because the focus being on like, how well are you able to learn and adapt? That's pretty huge with a lot of companies, because also the other thing, not having the right answer, but having conversations that can help get you there. And I guess there was something I was going to add to that.
While you're thinking of that, let me just interject that they, in our program at Generation, the boot camp that we are doing, they refer to that as, and it might be global, but asking clarifying questions.
Yes, that
like
is
a way to distill down what you actually need to know and show that you are thinking about how to solve the problem and solving the right problem.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Whoever told you that in class, they know what they're talking about. That's great.
Awesome. Cool.
One of the reasons why that is so important is, even if, for example, you're applying to a front-end web development position. Okay, so you're thinking like, great, I know JavaScript. This will be Whatever you did know, that is merely a foundation, because with any programming language, with any technology, everybody's going to use it a little bit differently. And that depending on how complex the product is, they're not just writing plain JavaScript. What they've done is they've built their own library of like convenient functions and classes and whatever to do their specific things faster and better, right? For them specifically, they're using the language they're building on top of the language and building like almost like a mini language to solve their problem.
Would this be considered a design system?
Yes, if we're talking about the user interface, like the look and feel, that's a design system. If we're talking about just purely the functionality, like making the electrons go one way or the other when you're trying to log in or you click a button, that's usually referred to as a library or a framework. And so I think the distinction they're parallel concepts, or it's the same concept. One in terms of the UI, because you've got this consistent look and feel using a design system so that your developers don't have to be writing CSS from scratch in order to essentially implement the brand standards of your company. And then on the flip side, it's like, we could write from scratch the code to do the login. But you know what? We've got this, we have 5 different products and people need to log in on these 5 different product screens. We don't want to reinvent login 5 times. We're going to have a login library that knows how to talk to our like user authentication servers the right way with the right encryption, blah, 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 blah. So that's an example of like, you don't see it. You see the effects of being able to log in or not being able to log in, but that library does the behind the scenes work for the design system that shows you the correct like border radius for the rounded corners of the form fields, for example.
Okay. And that would be sort of like we've all just been introduced to Bootstrap. So like that part would be like the sort of modular building blocks of what it looks like.
Exactly. Yeah. Bootstrap, you could consider Bootstrap to be like, Bootstrap essentially is a design system. It's a design system for Bootstrap. Like it is the Bootstrap look and feel. Whereas if you go to, like an easy one is log in. If you're an Apple user, log into your iCloud account. And that look and feel, you're like, oh yeah, this looks like an Apple thing. That's because they've implemented like the iCloud website using their own design system.
Is that Material?
Material, that's if you go to Google. Google's design language is called Material Design. Google. And if you're an Android user, you see it all the time.
Okay. And what is Apple's called?
They call it the HIG, the Human Interface Guidelines. They literally don't have a name for it. It is just how they do stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that for Apple, like their look and feel has just sort of, I mean, they've always been very design focused, like Steve Jobs, rest in peace. That guy,
that dude.
tyrant, amazing tyrant. Yeah. I mean, they had their own standards that they built into software they built, as well as all of their internal stuff. And so before the terms design language or design system, before those were even coined, like they always had a strong visual brand that they put into everything.
Yeah. I like how your bottle matches the logo. Did you plan a look?
Oh, wow.
Look at us.
Look. Wow. Look at us.
Thank you for holding forth on the various topics that I'm tossing gently in your direction.
Sure. Might I add one more thing? I've remembered now one more thing about the interview. yes, clarifying questions. Yes. Yes. And so here's the thing. You don't want to go in cold. So the question becomes, what do I practice? Well, depending on what company that you're applying for, you might be able to find some tips about what their interview is like by looking on a website called Glassdoor. I see that you've heard of it. So yeah, sometimes people will write descriptions. What you don't want to do is you don't want to like try to find out the exact questions, because if the interviewer thinks that you're cheating, or you're not going to get the job, and that's not how you want to get a job anyway.
You wouldn't want that, right?
No. The gold standard for preparation, it's really hard. It's basically like you could just take a extra boot camp on this alone, but there is the book called Cracking the Coding Interview. The author of that has videos that explains each of the like algorithm or data structure concepts. They're free on YouTube. I honestly, I was like, I'm never gonna bother. Like, why? Like, we don't use those algorithms and data structures that work. Well, not until you work for a company where performance matters. So previously, I was working at these tiny companies that built stuff that was fairly short-lived, and it didn't matter. It really didn't matter, because we were working with rather small amounts of data. We, weren't doing anything particularly complex, like in terms of, for example, like building a website where the code lives on one server. Sorry. At Momentive, like SurveyMonkey, the SurveyMonkey product is deployed to dozens, if not hundreds, of servers that work. Like there's like several dozen, if not hundreds, of servers that do nothing but handle the like survey, like just actually people taking the survey. There's another set of servers that handles nothing but the database, like the database and the code that takes for the survey taking. Those are different computers, because they have to scale to thousands and thousands and thousands of people taking surveys at any given moment. So at that level, when you're talking about tens of thousands of users, algorithms and data structures matter a lot. Like, so this was my first experience of, oh my goodness, my tiny team of 4 engineers, we actually have to care about the data structure for what I previously thought of as like, oh, just put it in an array. Put it in an array. It's fine. It doesn't matter. No.
So
No,
it's
it
about
does.
Like efficiency and ease of retrieval and
Exactly. So what the particular feature that I'm thinking of right now was, we were optimizing for speed of retrieval, right? There's other ways to optimize huge amounts of data. You could optimize it for sorting. You could optimize it for adding more stuff to the collection really, really fast. We didn't need that. It's like there's one set of things. It's very large. We will only load it from the database once, but it contains a lot of things. And at any given time, the user may click a thing where you need to access a specific subsection of the data. And so what we needed to do was optimize for that situation. And I was like, oh, wow, I now care so much about algorithms and data structures. But it wasn't part of my interview. It was just that even though I loaned it out. I did actually buy a copy of the book and started. I studied it for this position that I'm in now. So yeah, cracking the coding interview.
Yep.
It is worth as much time as you can put into it.
Jenna, who I've mentioned before, who I think might be here. I'm not sure. Jenna, if you're here, I can't tell who is who in the chat because we all have our weird names. But Jenna is my bootcamp buddy who took the front end from the same program just prior to this. Anyways, we were just chatting earlier, and she has that book and has been going through it. And
cool.
Being interested in the algorithms and data structures. And I bought the Colt Steel on Udemy, his JavaScript DSA course, which I am going to start going through when I have, a spare brain cell.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
And
when I get some sleep, Anyways, let me just check the chat here. See if Jenna, I don't know if you're here or not. Can we talk about, so I'm not sure how fried my eyeballs and brain are to be able to do actual things, but we'll figure it out once we get there, but can we start with having you talk about, so I've explained my struggle with the first kind of mini sprint that we were put into in our boot camp. And my group, I don't know how all of the groups did, because there's probably like 20 groups, but I know that several of us struggled to, it's like we studied and we did a few exercises on like Git and GitHub. And so technically we did have lessons on those, but once we were like on our own to do it, also learning how to work in a group and all of that stuff, we were sort of like, wait a second, I don't actually know how to do this like from scratch when it's not there being fed to me. So there was a lot of like figuring that out. Like my group completely forgot to make branches on the first day.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how do I, I just feel like there's a chunk of information that's missing about how to approach that. Like, and when you're not working with an existing code base, when you're starting from scratch and everything is a rough draft, how do you, how help?
Yeah. How to get.
That's
the question I heard.
How to GitHub, how to branch.
Yeah.
We sort of know, and we have since done more. And I would love for you to talk about it, and I will gently interrupt to ask clarifying questions.
Perfect. Wonderful. So what I'm hearing you say is that they basically taught you how to move the car from the backyard to the street and from the street to the backyard. And then they asked you to get in the car and drive on the interstate.
So that's what it felt like. And cool. Some groups, had somebody who knew how to do that and could show everybody how to do that. And my group we did not have that. So there was some struggle.
I understand. I totally understand.
I think, is that Jenny? Jenny, are you spooky something? She's saying, I think we did good, Melissa, besides that, because she was in my group. And we, like I was telling you, we did great with the communication and figuring things out. There was just that, like, how do we actually do this stuff?
Indeed. Yeah. The first, Git is weird for so many reasons, but yeah, in that situation, you're trying to figure out multiple things from like how to do it for the first time from scratch, but you're not just figuring out one of those things, you're figuring out many things. So let me see. Let me start with, I'm going to draw on something.
Do some stuff, please. Do whatever you like. Rocio is saying, we just did it in Replit and one person copied and pasted it because we didn't know how to do it. That's a good workaround. We've had a lot of talk on like the difference between Git and GitHub and like the commands and the terminal commands and stuff like that. And so that didn't feel like the problem. It was more just like the actual doing work and following it through.
Yeah. So cool. What else? What I'm going to start with?
You start. I'm going to stop interrupting you. I'm just going to sit and enjoy listening to you.
I'm going to please feel free to interrupt at any time. It's all good. What's in that can anyway? I'm kidding.
Call back.
So here's how we use Git at my job.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to draw on the screen so it's not just me talking. Melissa, would you confirm that you can see a blank VS Code window?
I can.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do some ugly drawings. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes. Well, I see the cursor moving, but I don't see any drawing.
You don't see the drawing. Okay, so the drawing is not going to work because I have to share my whole screen for the drawing, which I could do. I think it's important, so I'm gonna make that happen.
Okay. And you'll just have to hide our screen.
Yes.
So that we're not inceptioning.
Right. Okay. Hang on a second.
I finally just noticed the little thing in the top left that says live recording and that it has been 40 minutes.
Cool. Hey,
yeah,
nice.
We know.
Nice.
Oh, look, and now I see that it says that there are a handful of people watching. Nice. If you haven't yet said hello, please say hi in the chat. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to try to do this. It will be inception-y for just a moment, and then
I'm going to hide our
and then it won't.
ticker there.
Share. I want to share the screen. I want to share the whole thing, the whole screen.
Chris, he/him joined.
Just so that you know, when it tells you that you joined, when it tells me that I joined because I put a unicorn in front of my name, it says Unicorn Melissa has joined.
Amazing.
I
need an emoji.
You do.
I do need an emoji. All right, so I'm flying blind. I can't see right now.
Okay.
But I want to confirm that you can see this beautiful drawing.
I see it. It's amazing.
Wonderful. Okay, so here's, all right, this is totally silly, but what I'm drawing right now is something like, it's going to look a lot like Trello if you've used Trello, or some people call this a Kanban board. To do, and then you've got in progress, and then you've got done over here. And so essentially, each one of these boxes represents something called a user story, or a feature or a bug, something to fix. And when you click on one of these, what you get is a description of like user, let's see, what's something simple that I did the other day? We had some typos on, like, we had some typos to fix. So there's a text description in here. And then what I did was I moved it from the to-do column to the in progress column. And so when I did that, this is the Kanban board. And so then what I did, I branched off of main, and I created my own branch that was like named after the ticket. So each of these boxes has a ticket number. I work for a team who's we're known as the demand team, DMND. And let's just say that this is ticket number 1234 for my team. Follow me so far?
Yep.
Cool. And so what I would do is I would then create my branch called DMND 1234. And then I would do my work on this branch. And then eventually this would get merged back into main via a GitHub pull request. Okay. And so the reason why this is important is because there are three total engineers on the demand team. And so they're all each creating their own branches for the other tickets, because every 2 weeks, that's we start what's known as a sprint, where we work on a set of these feature or bug fix cards. And so they're all branching off, creating their own, 1, 2, 3, 5, et cetera. And those go through a PR, and those all eventually land back in main. And so that way, main is always like somebody has verified through the pull request. If somebody looked at the code, we have QA engineers who look at to make sure we didn't break anything and make sure that our feature actually does the right thing as described in the card. And so this is sort of the missing piece. Like you're right now in this boot camp where you're being trained how to do the things, but you don't have the context of why it matters. Like you're just being told, like, create branches. Okay, but why? Because what you ended up with by pushing everything to main, you probably coordinated with each other in such a way that you didn't mess up each other's code. In the code base that I work in every day, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of files. And sometimes even for our small part, like we're working on these demand tickets, maybe it's only a couple hundred files, but there's a very good chance that one of these tickets is going to alter a file that another ticket depends on.
We did have that. We had, even though we were trying to keep it separate, we were working in separate sections. Mm-hmm. It still was like a nightmare of merge conflicts and stuff. But seeing how, let me first say, anyone in the chat, if you are listening, if you have any questions about this or want any clarification or comments or anything, please put those in. And I'm also going to see if I can embiggen your screen. Cool. Can you make that window as big as the rest of your stuff? Just so I can, there you go, perfect. And then I'm gonna, Chris, can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh, you couldn't before. Dang it. It did not give me that message. I'm very sorry about that.
Whoopsie. Were you just wondering why I was looking around, not doing anything?
I was like, he's not answering me. Maybe he can't hear me. My volume was not showing that I was, it's that thing that we talked about earlier where it's
right.
Why? Okay. So I was saying you have your Kanban board, mm-hmm. and under the to-do or Trello, Kanban, whatever, each of those would be like a Jira ticket.
Yes.
And it issue the same?
Yeah. No, they're exactly the same. 2 names for the same thing.
Okay. I'm looking here. I see a comment. When you create your own branch from the main, it's so you can do your own changes without messing up the main branch.
Exactly. That is exactly it.
And then above that we have, I think that's Rocio. If 2 people pull from the main branch and create their new branch, are they supposed to work on different parts of the code so it doesn't mess with it? And then the other one was the answer. I read them in reverse order.
So, yes, and for example, if demand 1, 2, 3, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4 happen to touch some of the same files, that's totally fine, and that happens a lot. You're not required to work on different files. There's no like unspoken or spoken agreement that should happen. If you anticipate that, like, oh no, my changes are definitely going to affect, something happening in 1, 2, 3, 5. That's when you have a conversation. You go ahead and you alert the person. You're like, hey, listen, can we jump on Zoom real quick? Because I'm going to change this stuff. I don't know if you were going to change it also, but it definitely impacts the feature that you're working on. So let me make sure that I'm going to approach this in a way that doesn't clobber any changes you were planning. And so that way, you don't have to solve everything through a merge conflict or a pull request. You can just sort of have a conversation, do a little planning together so that these 2 PRs are much easier to merge, because you haven't agreed to not touch each other's files. You've agreed to like, okay, I had a couple ways I was going to approach my ticket. I'm going to now do it the way that we talked about so that it works out in the end for both of us.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
I think it does. Does.
Okay, cool. So this is the context. This is why we use branches. And in fact, like, I don't even know that I specifically or anybody has permission to push our changes to main. Like, I don't even think that it would allow me to do that. So that's yet another reason. Also, if you've not seen a pull request, you will very soon on screen. I'm not allowed to merge my pull request into main unless people who make more money than me, like, until they approve my pull request. So literally, like, for my code base, I'm not a, quote unquote code owner. That's a setting in GitHub, right? So all of this pull request stuff happens on GitHub, but the branching, that happens on your local computer. But this stuff is where you can, on GitHub, via pull requests and, like, designating some people as admins and others as regular users. That's how you protect bugs from creeping into the, like, the main branch, aka the actual production code.
How would you suggest that, like, in our situation, like, so let's just say that we were starting from scratch.
Yes.
We start something, we have, like, the basic files that don't have anything really in them. How would you approach that?
Yeah. So first of all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a dummy project. I know that we were going to do, like, something silly, but I'm going to, because this is already in your head.
Yep.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to create, and this is how I instructed my bootcamp students. I was like, all right, first things first, go ahead and create the repository, also known as the remote. This is a place where your committed code will live so that you can all share, right?
Yep.
And I'm just going to call this me. I can't believe that I'm still an owner on the bootcamp I used to work for. I'm just going to call that. Vigilant Dollop. I love it. That's great. It's a great name for the product. Description: learning some Git. Okay. And I'm going to create the repository. And then you're met with all of this fun stuff. It's like, okay, create a new repository in the command line. That sounds great. I'm literally just going to copy and paste this stuff. These are these were probably demoed to you, and you probably did this as part of your project where you're like, oh, I need to run this stuff. Sounds great. I'm going to do that. Love it.
Yep.
I'm just going to paste. Whoa, that's so much pasting. Let's take a quick look. Did it all work out? Yes. Fatal readme does not match. Oh, I see what happened here. Sorry. My pasting did some bad things. I'm gonna do some of this by hand real quick. This happens,
Yeah.
Apologies for anybody who's totally weirded out by my
what would we be weirded out by?
My windowing system that is neither Mac nor Windows. So I'm just going to echo. Let me do this. Let me just go ahead and create the README manually. So touch readme.md. I'm gonna open that in my code editor just above, and I'm gonna say the most vigilant dollop ever, because that's what this is. Okay, and did I? So I blindly copied and pasted, and it didn't work. I'm like, oh no, what do I do now? It's fine. Let me do this. One of my best friends when working with Git is to do a Git status. So the init worked. I did initialize a new Git repository, and now it's all the rest of the commands that probably broke. So I will say, yeah, you know what? I would like to keep this fine readme. So I want to add that to the staging area. So now it is in part of my changes to be committed. Awesome. I'm going to commit that with 2 M's, not 3 M's. Commit -M, M for the message. I'm going to say, this is the first and best commit, period. And then I see that it has a little thing to change the name of the branch to main. I've already done that. And so what I'm curious about now is if I try to do a push, where's it going to go? And that's what this line says, is like, oh, yeah. If we're going to push, you're going to push to a remote whose name is origin, because that's just the convention that they came up with.
Yep.
I want to check that. So I'm just going to say git remote -v. Awesome. So I don't need to add the remote. There's my remote. And I checked that using that command, git remote -v. So let me push -u origin. The very first time you push a branch, you have to say what the, like, oh yeah, what remote is this going to go to? Like, where do you want me to set this branch to push to from here on out?
Upstream.
And there you go. And so now when I go and reload, boom, you can see the triumphant message.
Very triumphant. Can you see the messages when I put them on the screen, Chris?
I see nothing because my browser window is
right.
hidden.
You're hiding it because we don't want to be looking at all of ourselves. Okay, so we had some questions. So I'm just going to stop you for a moment.
Yeah.
Are you running Linux? Eyeball emoji.
Yes.
And then we have what's -v again?
Yeah. So git remote. Let me do this. I'm going to show you. I think this is how you find out what the different sub dash commands do. Oh my goodness. All right. So if you missed that, I did git remote -help.
And
you're like, oh, I'm
Linuxy, or because would it be
anywhere
man for us?
That is just part of Git.
Okay.
So you could do something like Git.
The terminal. And I'm
Say
just
again.
using the tune. Man, like manual.
Oh, the man pages. So that is different.
Okay.
They're related but different.
Okay.
So the man pages are like the built-in text help system on anything that's sort of Linuxy or Unixy or Mac OS E. But the help that's built into Git it's formatted like a man page, a manual page, as you just mentioned. I wasn't actually expecting it to do this. I was expecting like a short version where it's just going to, in the terminal, just show me like, oh yeah, here's a few things that you can do with git remote. Not so. Here is the manual page, as you so astutely noticed.
Oh.
And
tell me, how did you get that? It was --.
I did -help. And you can do this with any of them. So I'm willing to bet that if I did git remote, let me add another terminal here so we can do a little side by side. So if I do git, what I'm going to see is if I can get help information for rename. Git remote rename -help. How about that? This is what I was expecting, was like real short help message. But with a lot of things, I mean, clearly with anything with Git, you're like, type as much as you know, and then just tack on --help.
Okay.
And that brings up a man page. No, it's not male or female. It is a manual. Okay, so fun fact for those thank you for joining, people who have joined. Fun fact about all things on the terminal, which has somehow percolated. All things terminal. Most of the weirdness is because most of the stuff was invented in the 60s and 70s, where typing in the terminal was slow because it actually had to send everything you typed to a computer far, far away, and that computer was very slow. And it took that computer a long time to do things, and the connection was slow. So to get the manual page, you didn't type manual. And it's like, oh my God, that's 3 extra letters. Can Chris count today? No. So instead you're like, I want to look at the manual page for Git. So man Git. Oh, this is, oh, ha ha ha. That's funny. I've never looked at this. Fun fact about the man pages is that often people hide little jokes in them.
Git, the stupid content tracker.
I love it. So good.
And is that by Git themselves, or is that like a little alias that you made?
It is by the Git people. So they'll usually there's attributions at the bottom of a man page, like who actually wrote it. But yeah, so
little Easter egg there.
Little Easter egg, but usually the man page will mention who authored the man page, but I think that here they're just being like, oh, this was authored by the people of the Git project.
Got it.
I digress, as I like to do. So
we
yeah,
love
dash
to do that. We love it.
Cool.
We learn lots of little tidbits that way. So
hooray!
For Git help, we type in as much as we know, and then type like -- help, and hopefully we'll get some information. And we were doing that to show Rocio, I believe it was, who asked what the -v means.
The -v. The -v. Can I make this? Yes, I can. Okay. So be a little more verbose and show remote URL after name. Okay, so why is that? Why did I do that? And how did I know? So if I just type git remote, it says, well, you've got one remote set up and it's called origin. Long ago, I just built the habit of typing git remote -v because I wanted to see, yeah, I know it's called origin, but like, where is that? And so I just internalized that without ever having read the manual page. A coworker showed me, and then I just did it. I just started doing that.
Okay.
And I don't be like me. Don't just blindly accept it. You really should sort of look up like what it does. But I was just like, cool, I can get my work done for the day.
I trust you. I'm just going to put this code in here.
Yeah. No, and that's the other weird thing is like like I say about interviewing, they're partially looking to see like how moldable you are and how adaptable you are. And so I'm clearly very moldable because I will just blindly type in a command that a coworker shows me, and I will just do it forever just because it turned out to be useful that one time, and it will continue to be useful. And I will say that it's very likely that most people who use Git will say the same things about the commands that they use. They're just like, I don't know. It shows me the information I want, or it does what I want. So that's what I type.
Yep. Like some people always like ls will do the -alt.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of like, that's what I do. What does T do?
Time, I think.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, by like last accessed.
Oh, clever. See,
look at me knowing stuff.
You do, and that's the other charming thing about the terminal is that there are so many nooks and crannies. These little. All right, so this guy right here. I refer to these as command line switches because they turn things on and off. The T, Melissa, as you pointed out, turns on last access time because that's the difference. Like I created the projects directory at 15:02 Eastern time, and then, oh no, this is sorting. It's sorting by time, I think. Okay.
Yep.
Enough of that. I see. Cool. Wow. All right.
Where were we?
Where were we? Do we? Are there any more questions in the chat at the moment?
It looks like there are a couple. Let me see.
Cool.
He said, Eddie, is that Eduardo? If it works, I don't question it. LOL.
Yeah.
And then somebody else Rocio was laughing at that. So So the remote.
Yes.
-V, and that was to show where, okay, we're just checking where is the remote. We have origin, where is that located? And it shows the fetch and push.
Yes.
So the reason that shows twice, which we all were very confused about at first, is it's just saying the address of the origin. When you say fetch, it's going to go to this address, and when you say push, it's going to go to that address, and it's the same address. Is it ever
happens to be the
address?
same? It can be a different address. So sometimes sometimes what you're doing is when you fetch, right? What I might do if I were super clever is I might make a fork of some very popular repository on the internet.
Okay.
And I want to fetch their most recent changes because their team of super smart people is doing really cool stuff. But I only want to push to my own local one. So I might set it to fetch, like, I don't know, if I was working on the Linux kernel, which I will never do, I might fetch from the official repo for the Linux kernel, but I just want to mess around with it on my own GitHub space. So I might just push and like essentially back up my own customizations to my own repo.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. That's the first I've like been able to understand why it would be different and why it shows you both, because sometimes they are different, and that's a great illustration of when they would be. Rocio is asking, and this was from before when we were showing the Trello board, does demand 1, 2, 3, 5 have to fetch after 1, 2, 3, 4 pushed?
No.
Before merging?
No, because what might happen is that, I'm going to draw right here. So we had main, and then my coworker Karis, she is working on DMND demand 1, 2, 3, 5, and then
and these are branches.
These are the branches
named after, and you give each ticket its own branch.
I like to give each ticket its own branch.
Oh, you missed Butterbean. I mean, Blue Kitty. Hang on. You like to get, okay.
And so what might happen is two things might happen. Like these, in something like Jira, in a ticketing system, these numbers are automatically generated as the tickets are created. But honestly, when we're creating tickets, we may not create them in the most logical order ever. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that these may or may not be related. These may or may not be dependent on one another. Who knows? So the numbers do not determine the order in which anybody pushes or merges or fetches. And there's a little bit of an art to writing your tickets so that it is like, no, really, that one ticket, this is one self-contained piece of work, even though they might touch some of the same files. Though you might be asking about the particulars of like, oh, but you had a conversation, right? I mentioned like, oh, we might be working on some of the same files, so let's have a conversation about it. Whether or not, if they have that relationship, we'll have the conversation about like, okay, so we decided to do it a certain way. Now, is it important for one of us to push and merge before the other person? And my answer to that is it depends on the situation, but ideally, they should be independent. But if we find out if they are in fact intertwined, then we'll make that call. We'll say like, oh, Karis, listen, I'm going to make changes to these files, but there's this one where, you need to go ahead, get your PR merged into main. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to update from main. I'm going to fetch your changes. And then I don't know what I'm drawing there. And then after that, I will do a PR into main. So in this situation, the numbers don't matter, but Karis needed to have her PR merged first because I wanted to benefit from some changes we discussed so that by the time I push my branch and have it reviewed, it includes her changes.
Okay. So I'm thinking, let me look at this and think for a second. Anybody? Okay, let's check the chat. Somebody says, so. Chris.
Ooh. Aha.
Aha. No, no.
You know, before we do this a second time, I will get my second monitor set up so that I can see.
Yes. Oh, because you didn't see that I just held up my can and did a Vanna White, like, ooh, look at my sponsored.
Yeah, no, I literally, you can see everything that I can see because you can see my screen.
Okay, right. Okay. Noted.
Soon I'll have the fancy.
I will not pantomime. And soon I will also get a different webcam so I can have all of this on the bigger screen so that I can embiggen things. Embiggen them. Okay. So let's see if, and again, anybody just pop your questions in the chat as I'm fumbling, trying to figure out what I want to ask. So once we break the bits, the issues or what needs to happen into the smaller parts that each become a ticket.
Yeah.
And then let's say you joined the team and there is main and there's people working on their own branches.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to pull us up so I can see you and such. I think I'm learning how to do this stuff. I'm trying to make us a little bit bigger, but not lose your whole screen. But I don't know if that's working. Nope, that didn't work. All right, we'll just do this. Will this work? No. So much fun. Okay, so you joined the team. There is a code base of main. It's like a live product. You get a ticket and you clone the remote.
Yes.
Down to your local. You have main, like the main branch of the origin.
Yes.
You make a new branch with the name of what your ticket is.
Yes.
And that new branch holds everything that exists in main.
It does. It has everything from main, and then you can add stuff on your branch, and it won't affect main until later on, until a merge happens.
Right. So you have your branch, and you're only working on a little. It contains all of main, but you're only working on just a little part of it.
Right.
And you make some changes. You get add, you get commit locally. When do you push? Do you push like no matter what, like at the end of the day? Do you push only when it's ready? Only when you're like, this is ready to be pulled? Like I'm going to push because I think it should be pulled into main, or what?
I treat push like a backup. Like if my cat could potentially spill my coffee on my computer and destroy my work.
And your cat definitely could.
And she has the tiny hussy. That's when I push. I'm like, oh no, I want to make sure this is safe. So a commit is what I do just because, like, okay, I think of commits like a save game in like if I'm playing video games, which I don't do a lot of because I used to lose dozens of hours of my life to that. So I can't anymore. But yeah, I commit pretty regularly. So like in a 3-hour chunk of time, I will probably commit maybe a dozen times. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. But then I'm gonna push anytime I leave my computer because I'm gonna go grab some more coffee, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, whatever. If I'm leaving the computer and it is in danger of Mila spilling coffee or any beverage or otherwise destroying my computer, I need to protect my code with a push. Then it is essentially backed up on GitHub.
Okay, great. So you do that.
Yes.
You come back to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mila has not wreaked havoc.
She has not.
This time. Do you fetch?
It depends how long it's been. So the code base at work, if I'll probably need to fetch, I'll probably need to do that a couple times during the day. If I'm working on a feature that a lot of the features that I work on I will need to work on them for multiple days. And so at least once or twice a day, usually first thing in the morning and maybe again in the afternoon, I will fetch main and then merge main into my feature branch.
So you'll fetch, because we don't want to just pull. We want to fetch and merge.
So I do a little dance, not an actual dance. It's different.
I feel like I need to say that Adam, our teacher, is insistent that we do not pull. We just fetch and merge to make sure that we're not accepting something that's going to mess with our stuff.
I think that is very good advice. And here's my version of that, because it's a very flexible tool. If I'm working on my ticket for a long time, what I might do is I might switch over to main. I might git checkout main. Here's GitHub. A git pull is essentially the equivalent of a fetch and merge, right? So I may pull, and then I may switch back to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, so you were, I think this is the thing that is one of the missing pieces of information. So I'm getting like a flashing light saying, so before what just happened there, you have the remote cloned, you have the main, you have made your new branch, you're working on your new branch, and that is the branch that's checked out.
Yes.
You may, when you come back after a couple of hours, decide to switch branches. So now you're just in main as it exists in the remote.
Right.
Until you
correct,
or fetch or whatever. Okay.
Totally. So in order to do that, I will do a checkout, and then I'll pull, and then I'll check out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will merge main into my branch, and then I'll continue to work on my stuff, and then eventually push so that I can create a PR, not a RR, a PR on GitHub, so that could eventually be, merged and considered for merging into main.
Okay. So I need to noodle on that for a second. So you switch to main to fetch or pull. So that you don't have a conflict when you go to push your branch?
Correct.
Because your main will be different. Your history of your whole thing that you're pushing will be different. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So when you want to push your branch, you want to fetch and merge main without thinking about your branch.
Right.
Okay. I think that's one of the things that was confusing me.
Yeah. And for a small project with only a couple of people, it's like, what's the what is the point? Why does this matter? You already noticed one of the ways that it's helpful. It's like when you push and there's a PR, you want everything that's not your new changes. You want all the rest of the stuff to be as much like main on GitHub on the remote. You want that to be easy peasy. That's mergeable. All the other files are identical except for like the 3 that I changed when I was working on my ticket.
Okay.
And so by doing this merge, you're saying like, oh, wow, like my teammates, they went and they changed a bunch of other files. I want to bring those changes in just so I have a nice, clean, happy PR.
And you're only pulling the main. You're not pulling other people's branches.
Right.
Okay. And so those are changes, if they occurred, they were changes that were pulled in, and now they're just part of main.
You're talking about other people's branches?
Yep. Like if main is different when you pull it before you push your branch.
Right. Yeah. I'm only pulling main and then merging main into my branch because everybody else's branches have nothing to do with my PR. My PR is me wanting to take 1, 2, 3, 4 and merge it into main. So that's why I do the little dance of, oh, let me check out main, pull, and then if there are any new changes, let me merge those into my branch. Everybody else's. So when I'm working, the only 2 branches I ever care about are main and my branch.
Okay.
Main so that I can have a clean PR, and my branch because that's where my work is.
Right. Okay. So you could merge your branch onto main, but that's not what you want to do. You want to merge the main that you just fetched onto your branch so that
correct
when your branch arrives up there, it's basically the same history. Okay.
Totally.
That's incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Yay.
We're doing it.
Doing the thing.
Oh my God. So Rocio, I think that's you, said, can you say that again, please? What time is it? So that was 4 minutes ago. Rocio, say what again? Hopefully that was it. Hopefully that was earlier. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh.
That's okay.
Okay.
We will. She thinks she got it. Cool.
Okay. Cool. Also, there is a recording.
Oh, that's right.
So there will be a delay, Rocio, but you will. If you didn't have the aha, you can always find the aha.
I'm gonna hold up my drink now. Aha. Yeah. And Rocio is saying, can we pull from the project you created?
Yeah. This one, hang on. Yes, if you want to find Vigilant Dollop, I'm pretty sure that it is public. And if for a good time.
Here, let me see. I will see if I can grab your link.
Yeah.
If that is what would be the most helpful, because I'm all over the place here. Yeah.
Also, I could add you
Hang
to.
on, what's happening? Okay, here we go. All right.
Who are you? Are you Yummy Goods?
You know I am.
Yeah, you are. I'm gonna invite you so that we can do stuff.
Okay. Cool. All right.
You are a collaborator.
Nice. And you are Radish Mouse?
Radish Mouse. Do you want to know what a Radish Mouse is? Get ready. Get ready for adorableness.
I am ready. Oh my God, Radish Mice. Oh, that is very cute. Look at the little mushrooms. Look at the little mushrooms. They're so cute.
Whoa, look at them. Oh my goodness.
Can you deal? Those are, oh my God, those full body ones.
I just want to eat them.
They're
right now.
Very cute. Look at those, the one with the blue background, so cute. Okay.
So much better for you than Halloween candy.
and yet much less delicious. I mean, I like a radish, but okay, your radish mouse, no dash.
Radish.
Oh, your profile has your kitty.
It has my mother-in-law's former kitty.
Oh. Okay. Oh, I didn't give the link to the Vigilant.
I love this photo.
It's so cute. So that's not one of your kitties.
It's not. This is an old photo, and that kitty has crossed the rainbow bridge, and that is okay.
Aww, sweet baby.
They had a great life.
Oh, that is a very cute photo. Okay.
I
So put the link to your whole deal and then to Vigilant Dollop.
Cool. Melissa, do you want to try cloning it? Do you want to clone?
Sure.
Cool.
So should I do a share-a-roo or?
Yeah. We'll switch off, and here's what we're gonna do: is I'm gonna behind the scenes.
Ooh.
Would you go ahead and hide my screen share because my screen's about to get real janky.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Do you have the ability to do that?
Show on stream. They're both hidden. I think you have to end it.
Oh. Okay.
Well, we'll figure it out.
What
would you
I know what to do. Okay. Do I know what to do? Will this work?
Maybe not. We're trying.
No, wait.
Do you have your regular screen back? Can you see us?
I do now. Haha. Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, cool. It's hidden. It's hidden.
Yeah.
You did the thing.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Should I be trying to share my screen?
You should share your screen. And what's going to happen, very excitingly, is I'm going to talk you through. Here's an idea. One of the first things that you might do on a project, right, during your boot camp is you're like, we have to do everything from scratch. Well, part of everything from scratch means somebody's got to create like an HTML file. It might be empty. Who knows? Maybe a CSS file, maybe an images folder. And that needs to go directly to main so that people can then branch off of it and then add stuff.
I must admit that I have no idea what you just said because I am struggling to share my screen.
Okay. Totally fine. Totally valid.
I am getting the message that I need to allow permissions, but I feel like I've already done that. So
you're like, I did
I'm
that.
a little bit like, what? Like the ticker that says what? You could test out any of the little buttons and entertain yourself while I am trying to figure out how to.
You mean like that?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. You can make your own.
I could make my own.
Yeah. Why is this not working? Streamlabs? I don't want this to be this hard. And I'm like not 100% with my brain today. Anybody, if you have any, exactly, my God. If you have any questions for Chris while I am stumbling along figuring this out, please have at it. At him. Talk about cats.
Oh, Jenny. Yeah. Oh, right. I should be talking
Jenny now. Here? If Jenny is here, she should talk about her cats. Okay.
So we take one of my kitties needs a checkup after he got radiation treatment for cancer that was happening in his face. And so he's got these bald spots. It's so amazing. One of our friends identified the big bald spot on top of his head as being shaped like a llama. And I'm like, now I can't unsee it. It's llama. It's a llama shaped bald spot. But it's Islamish. The hair is starting to grow back, and it's white, and it's like white peach fuzz. He's a black cat, by the way, so he's gonna have a white llama shaped area on his person.
How much is it grown back?
Literally, it's like peach fuzz. It's so like you have to take his little head and put it like right up to your eyeballs to see the hair.
Which you
I mean,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you like?
Duh.
Obviously.
It's my cat.
Psh, have we met? Screen recording. Here we go. Finally. Just moments. Just moments. I promise. I hope. That's more like it.
Totally good. Totally good. I mean, that's what this is about. We're debugging.
I mean, this is our first live stream together. I mean, I think it's going pretty well.
It's good. It's great. So good. I mean, it is. It actually is good. And also, we do have the ability to edit the recording later if you would like to do that. I will probably decline this time around.
Okay, it seems to be giving me the options now.
The options? Wow.
Options. No. I don't know if I have the energy to keep trying because for some reason it keeps telling me that I can't do it. Let me try one more thing.
Try one more thing and
one more thing. Screen. I understand.
Screen.
Entire screen? I mean, I guess I could do entire screen.
Whole screen, partial screen.
Let's try that. Maybe that will work. Chrome does not have permission to access your screen. Please follow these steps. Do you mean the steps that I have continued to do? Those steps? Is that what you mean?
The steps that I already did?
Scroll through the list until you find screen recording. Did it. All right. Just one. Here we go. Just going to try one more time. It's impressive. Let's try. Screen recording. Yes. Access, camera, microphone, yes.
Social security number.
Okay, if this last try doesn't work, then I'm giving up, and
we'll debug offline.
You can take over the clone. Okay, cool. I'm gonna try one more time. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Is it gonna work? What do you think?
I think it's gonna be great.
You think it's gonna work?
So good about this, yeah.
Right. Okay. No. Nope. All good. I tried.
One of our viewers successfully cloned and can see the README file.
That's exciting. Did you put some new stuff into the README?
I have not. So here's what what I will do is I'm going to create a branch. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to create a branch. Let me move. Oh, okay. So Melissa, can I delegate to you?
Yes. Would you like me to bring the screen back up?
Would you show my screen so that we don't have inception?
Chris's stream, show on stream. I'm saying to show on stream. So you can't see the screen, so you don't know what I'm showing or not showing. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. It is doing that thing where it looks like it's hidden. You have two. Double click. All
right. Let me try.
I think maybe one of them needs to.
We're just going to have inception.
Okay.
Inception it is. Okay. Can you now, Melissa, does it look like my VS Code is being shared?
It does, yes.
Cool. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pretend that I'm working on a feature where I'm going to add some stuff. So I'm going to check out a brand new branch and I'm going to call it, I don't know, Project Skeleton.
So Rocio was saying only a couple of minutes ago, I don't know how to create the branch. So now, is this what you're about to do, Chris?
That is what I've just done. I just created a branch.
Awesome.
And the way so I did that with a Git checkout. No, normally Git checkout will switch you to an existing branch. But if it doesn't exist, you can do the -B to say, oh, and create the branch at the same time.
Yep.
So if I do a git status, it says that I'm on branch project skeleton, and I can switch back to main by saying git checkout main. In case you don't want to switch, you want to create a branch, but you don't want to switch to it, you can always say git branch, I don't know, stuffs and things, right? If I do a git status, it says I'm still on main. I'm like, well, what happened to stuffs and things? I'm glad you asked. Git branch. This one I get confused. Is it git branch -a? Yeah. Okay, cool. A will show all of them, including remotes. But as you can see, I am on main, and there are 2 other local branches, project skeleton and stuffs and things. And I can confirm that they don't exist on GitHub. For those of you watching remotely, which is everybody but me, I'm leaving this VS Code window open to the side just so you can see the commands. But what I want to demonstrate is that there is no rabbit in my hat at the moment. Ta-da! It is literally when I go to, let me do that again. I'm on the page for my repo, and if I click branch, it just says, well, there's only the one branch. Like, okay.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is let me git checkout. Let's go with project skeleton. Now, what I'll do here is let me, I'll create an index.html just because, and I'm going to create, let me make a directory for my styles. Let's call it style sheets. And then inside of that directory, I'll create a styles.css, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? All right. And then my index.html, I feel like.
Where is Emmett?
Where is Emmett? Emmett. Expand abbreviation. Ta-da. There is a keyboard shortcut, but do I remember it? Nope. Okay. Let me just put a friendly little vigilant dollop, little H1 on here, because why not?
Why not?
And place kitten.
I'm sorry, what? Place kitten? What? What is this? Explain. Explain yourself.
Explain.
Are you making my day right now?
I am.
Okay.
So this just has placeholder images of cats. I think, do you get different ones every time? I want this one. Open image in new tab. Which one are you? Perfect. You specify the size as part of the URL, and you get that. You get a cat image that is that size. I wonder if I can just, what happens if I just change this to 280, like 300?
Does it just size it for you? Oh, it just picks one that is that size.
It picks one that is that size. But I like this. I like this one. Look at that.
Wow. I mean,
for real.
Where's the price of admission? This right here. Place kitten. Do you know about, I've been just pulling images. We have our bio page, and we all need to upload photos, but we haven't yet. So I've been using cat from the internet photos, but not through this. But do you know about the cat lorem ipsum?
Oh, no, I don't.
Let me get you a link.
Lorem ipsum. Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Yeah.
Are you putting it in the chat?
Yeah, cat ipsum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me retrieve cat ipsum. Oh my goodness.
Make muffins.
Oh wow, yes. Select all text. Perfect. Okay. Wait, I thought this was, oh, it is 3 paragraphs. Okay, cool. Let's do this. P times 3, Emmett, do the thing. And then, actually, don't really want to do that, do I?
Yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
It's
fine.
You can just write cats. Cats.
No, I will do this. This is important. This is worth everybody's time. Totally.
Stare at nothing and then run hairball. Now you understand your place in my world. Meow to be let in. Funny little you're up.
Amazing. Just amazing. Okay, hang on. And now we'll do the most amazing styles ever. Border 1 pix solid.
Ooh.
Red.
Oh.
And let's include this style sheet. Ooh, okay. And now I need to preview this. I'm sure that there's like a thing to preview.
Do you have the live?
I don't know that I have the extension. Let's just see if, oh, what am I doing? Preview. If one exists.
Live server extension.
Yeah, don't have it. That's okay. I know a trick.
Clickety clack.
Clickety, clickety, clickety.
Like also, that. He's saying what in the actual. Ooh.
What? Notice it's basically responsive.
Noise. Noise. How did that happen?
Because I added no styles whatsoever. Except for the red box, which it was only there to demonstrate to me that yes, your styles
are linked. Is connected. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do now is let's do git status. What? Oh, I am on project skeleton. So now I've got these untracked files, which I will now add index and style sheets styles. I know most people would just say, just git add dot. I don't want to. I want to be very specific.
I was going to ask you about that actually today, because I have always just been doing that, even though I know that there's a more specific way. And I was like, is that bad practice?
For me, it would not be good because I tend to create a lot of throwaway files.
Oh, okay.
When I'm working.
I do not want to add.
Yeah. I create throwaway files, or I put like poop emojis in lots of files that I'm just like, okay, I need to figure out where is this thing on the screen coming from? Because yeah, it can get complicated.
Things that you
so I don't want to commit and push my poo emojis.
Noted.
All right, and I'm gonna commit and say add initial project files. Okay, and now we get push. It's gonna yell at me. Watch this. Oh no!
Fatal.
Push you dash u origin project skeleton. Okay. We're tracking. Okay. Are we though? Are we really? Let's go back to the code. Oh, what is this? Project skeleton had recent pushes less than a minute ago. All right, let's real quick before we do this pull request situation, let us observe there are in fact 2 branches. Main is a default. I own, because I created it, I own the project skeleton branch, and under active development, I don't know how it determines that. That must mean like within X number of days. It has commits.
So it's not showing that there are 2 branches named that thing. It's showing that there's a default branch called main, there's your branch, and then
it also happens to be active.
Okay. Active meaning?
Has recent commits.
Okay.
What is recent? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Okay. Okay, so now I clicked on code just to see the code again, and I can see like, oh, you really want to create a pull request, don't you? I'm like, yes, fine, GitHub. Great. Jeez. So, all right. Add the following for everyone else to develop off of. And I'm just going to add in here index.html and style sheet /styles.css. I don't actually need to do that. I just needed something to type. Also, notice that a lot of times when you're just writing text, it happens to be Markdown.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I would like to, I would like to learn that. There's a couple that I do because a program like a day one, the journaling app that I use just has it, and so I've just learned how to do a couple of things that I want to do, but that's about it. Rocio is saying, I tried mine. It says fatal error because my code expired, and she's trying to fix that. Rocio,
what does that mean?
Oh, you know what? Is it your token, your access token to GitHub that expired? Because I had that happen the other day.
Oh.
The first time we did it with an access token because I didn't set up two-factor or something. I don't know.
Got it. That one is sadly that is new to me. The access tokens. Melissa, do you currently have? Are you still using access tokens, or did you do like SSH keys?
I switched to so Rocio. The email that I got that said your whatever has expired. Then I went to, and I think I just went to GitHub, and I found, I'm gonna look for it. It's something like maybe in settings, it's like password and authentication. Yeah, on the if you do settings and then you go to the left, about halfway down, password and authentication. I think I set up two-factor authentication, and then I didn't have to continue to do the token thing. I think.
Fancy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Fancy.
Rocio, did that help? She's making a cry face. I don't know how to fix it.
Oh no.
I think that was like before I just did that. So I think if you set up two-factor authentication, that should fix it, and then you won't need to do that anymore.
Cool.
I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna real quick try a different thing, right? Okay. I'm going to. Oh, here's what I'll do. I will go ahead and merge this, and then pull it down.
Oh, I know. I had a question.
Yes.
Let's say, okay, Rocio's trying what I suggested. Let's say, hang on 1 second. I'm trying to get us back so I can see you. Hi.
Hello. Oh, should I be seeing you?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to see you. It helps me focus instead of just staring at screens and talking into the ether.
Into the ether.
The ether. I had a question. Will you remember what you were just about to do?
Totally.
Okay.
I'm going to. Yes. All right.
Hi.
We're back.
Hi.
Hi.
So one of my questions was so say in our little project group, I've worked on my branch. I have fetched main, merged main onto my branch so that it is as similar to the remote as possible to hopefully avoid any conflicts. I push and make a pull request. Let's say it's ready and I make a pull request. When we are deciding, how do we know? Like, do we pull it? Do the people who are deciding, like, let's say we say, okay, 2 of us will check it out and both approve it, and that's how we'll know to merge to main. So do we each pull down to our own local, that branch, and do the live view so we can see what it looks like?
You would, that's a great question. What you would do is ideally, you would check out that, on your local computer.
Yep.
You would then do a git fetch
Okay. And not the main.
Right. If you do a git fetch, this says, please local computer, ask GitHub what all the latest branch information is. And your local computer then grabs that information, says, yes, I can see that there's this project skeleton, and I see that, look, there's a fancy pants branch. There's not a fancy pants branch, but it could.
Yeah.
There could be.
One sec. Before brain. Normally, do we just git fetch main? Just git fetching?
I have always just done a git fetch because you're not actually pulling all the changes. You're just pulling, it's like grabbing the table of contents. You're just grabbing headlines. You're not grabbing the news stories.
I'm sure that's an awesome way to explain it. My brain is just dying.
I only ever do just a plain git fetch.
Right. Okay. And but it won't fetch all the branches.
It will fetch a list of branches.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then that will allow me to do check out any of those branches, which then pulls the full branch information to my computer. So then I can run live preview and see yes, Melissa did a bang up job with extra cat photos.
Well,
feature complete.
Fair. So you would git fetch. You normally just git fetch, and that gives you a list. And then when you want to merge, you git merge main, because normally you just want to merge the main.
There's an extra step in there. When I actually want to merge, so on the one hand, I can git fetch, which gives me a list of branches. So then I can check out if I want to preview and see I see they have a PR. I want to confirm that they actually made the changes. I could read through the code, but I want to see it locally. That's when I git fetch and check out.
Okay.
If I want to do the merge thing, I would git fetch, git checkout main, git pull, git checkout my branch, git merge main.
Okay. There is a comment. I'm going to look at it. Vigilant dollar.
Oh, yes. You do not have the ability to push because I have not added you as a collaborator, but I could. You want to put in, what is your GitHub username? I'm going to add you as a collaborator right now.
You guys, aren't we so lucky to have Chris spending his Sunday afternoon with us, telling us all these beginner things? We're so friggin' lucky. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, you're very welcome. What? You just retyped your Twitch name. I'm kidding. I got you.
You have coordinating names? She's saying, OMG, yes, thank you so much. I know, can you believe it? Rocio was, when I mentioned you, we had some crazy day. And I was and right after that, I got on a call with my guy, and she's like, I need one of those. I'm like, I'm just lucky. I just lucked into Chris.
Oh.
Miller time. Not really. It's just aha time. Okay.
All right. I'm adding you now. Please attempt to push once again.
So exciting.
Ooh, and I'm gonna watch.
Ooh.
To see if there's okay. And I'm gonna cover us up so we don't have inception.
Okay.
Show on stream. All right, so I'm sharing my screen again.
Cool.
After a push, it should show me new branch push to create pull request ? So I'm just gonna wait with bated breath. What is bated breath anyway?
Is
that panting? Is that
worms?
Oh.
Bated? No.
Ha.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Totally fine. Totally good.
You know, I haven't been sleeping. Rocio is doing the thing, I believe. Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna peek. I'm peeking.
Okay. Peeking.
Boop.
Nope, that's fine. Boop. She's okay. Here, something just came in. She said, "Okay, I think it's done."
Cool. All right. Maybe I need to refresh.
Could be.
It says there are 3 branches. Oh, cool. No, yes, wonderful. It didn't do the thing. It didn't do the thing where it's like, hey, do you want to?
Oh.
Guess it doesn't do that every time. That's totally
does it only do it when there's a pull request? Like if she pushed a branch.
So the prompt is like prompting you to create the pull request. So I don't know why I didn't say that this time, but here's what I'm going to do. Here's a fun feature. Even when you click new pull request, it doesn't automatically create the pull request. So what you can do is, you can scroll down because all it's doing is, where's my magic drawing tool? It's just comparing the branches, right? It's saying, okay, you want to merge your branch to main, and that's great and everything. Let me show you what's going to be different if you do that, right? And this is the special syntax for that, where it's like, okay, you didn't really delete the first line and re-add it, but Git is very smart, but not that smart. And then here is the actual new change. Is like, hey, they're from Rocio. I hope you can read this. I can. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, before I jump into that, I'm going to demonstrate what I was just talking about, which is like, I want to see what that looks like, right? So let me clear my terminal, and I'm going to say git, what branch am I on? Git branch. I'm still on Project Skeleton. So here's what I might do. I might say git fetch, right? And so this is going to give me a list of all the new changes, like in terms of new branches or changed branches. And so here we have new brand new branch. Awesome. So what I could do, I could check out Rocio branch, and then let's see. Oh, excellent. Awesome. Notice that these have red dashes through them because Rocio's branch does not have either index.html or styles.css.
So now you are seeing what Rocio was looking at.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you created other stuff.
Yeah. So VS Code is currently like, I know that I thought these existed, but they've clearly been deleted off the hard drive. And that's the thing, is like, effectively, when you check out a branch, you're checking out a different version of your project folder, meaning like, well, Rocio's version of the project folder doesn't have any of those files, but it does have a change to readme.md.
So what you would do, she would fetch before she...
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to be Rocio for just a second. Hopefully that's not creepy. So what I'm going to do. All right. So what branch am I on? I'm on Rocio branch. Let me just go ahead and delete these. Right. I mean, close those tabs so VS Code doesn't, show like, oh, these don't exist anymore. We do know that. Add initial project files. Let me merge this because I failed to do so earlier. Has no conflicts. Great. Awesome. Confirm the merge. So this is now main has been updated, and Project Skeleton is like, cool. All that stuff is now in main. So now when I go to code, right, on the main branch, you can see here are my new files. Awesome. Woohoo. How do I get those into the Rocio branch? Great question. Okay. So since I'm on the Rocio branch and I want what's on main because, this README is okay, but it'd be so much better if it had this line. Am I right?
You're right. Absolutely right.
Totally. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that thing that I just described, where it's like, oh, dang, somebody updated main. I want that because I don't want my PR to be messy. So I'm on Rocio branch. I'm going to say git fetch. Notice it says, here's the latest. We've got updates to main. Like, oh, that's cool. So like check out main. And notice it says your branch is behind by 2 commits and can be fast forwarded. We love this. We love when it can be fast forwarded, because then we just have to git pull.
Okay.
Boom. Okay, so what just happened? We just received these 2 shiny new files. And just to, let's just make sure, where are we? We're on the main branch. And not only do these files exist in VS Code, they really also for real exist on my hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can do is git checkout. I'm like, I love these changes. I could look at them in the browser, but I'm going to skip that step for right now. I'm going to go back to Rocio branch. Wow.
Yeah.
Can I spell?
You got it. You got this. Yeah.
That was so hard. I switched branches, which means, so I checked out Rocio branch, which does not have index.html or styles.css, but I want them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now going to say git merge main. And then because I forgot to do a -m with a message or something like that, I now have this, you might see this, you might not see this. I now have to enter this special :WQ, which says, yes, this merge message is totally fine. Merge main into Rocio branch. Awesome. And then it did it.
Cool.
Whoa. Cool. So now I am still on Rocio branch, and I have index.html, styles.css, plus this most amazing addition to readme.md. And so what I could do, if I felt so inclined, again, Rocio, I'm gonna be you. I'm going to push my changes. Whoa, what changes? You're thinking to yourself, Chris, you didn't actually change anything. You merged some stuff, but you didn't change anything. Ha ha ha. Git doesn't know the difference. So if I look at a list of my recent commits, a merge is a commit.
Okay.
Right? And so a merge is a commit, and it includes, like, this is the merge from my pull request. This is the merge that I created on my local computer. And also, here's the commit Rocio added. So this is the history.
Cool.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to git push, because I am paranoid. Yes, I am on the correct branch. So when we push, then we get this situation, and now I can compare. And what's nice about this is, right, the compare screen just gives us a preview of the pull request. We can see, like, yeah, here's the only changes. There's no mention of, like, well, nobody on this branch actually created index.html or styles.cs. It doesn't matter. I merged those in, so my history is very clean, and then this shows up as the single change that we want to merge in.
Awesome.
And that's why we do the little dance of git fetch, git checkout main, git pull, git checkout Rocio branch, git merge main. And then we're like, cool, we're all clean. We got all this stuff from main, and we can create the pull request. Adds awesomeness to readme.
Woo.
Right?
Yes. Go team. Look at us.
And that's
nice.
That's it in a nutshell. I'm just going to go ahead and merge this, because why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Rocio,
done and done.
You done got merged to main.
And then, I'm going to finish this off by, I'm going to do a git checkout main. So I'm now on main, and I'm like, cool, I'm just going to go ahead and update, because when I create my next branch, because maybe there's more features to do, I want to make sure I am starting my branch from the latest and greatest version of main.
So you're on your own local. That stuff with Rocio just happened. You merged it, and now you're fetching to make sure that whatever you're going to start with has Rocio's stuff merged.
Yes. And instead of, point of clarification, I did a git pull because I do want to fetch, but I also want to merge in from main whatever's the latest version of main on the origin.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Rocio is asking, my merging, does it delete my branch? Doesn't it give you a message to now, like, this branch is merged, now you can delete that branch? And what is your practice? Do we or do we not want to delete the branches after they've been merged?
Right. Yeah. They automatically get deleted on GitHub when you merge a pull request. Okay. They do not automatically get deleted locally. So if I do git branch, so I don't think. I mean, you could probably set up a way to do it, but as far as I know, you have to manually delete the branches locally after they're merged on GitHub.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that. Let's get branch -d, I think. Let me get the help because I can't remember. Okay, there we go. Yeah. -d is delete. Cool. And it will warn you if that branch has not yet been merged, which is nice. Thanks. Git branch project skeleton. Just a little cleanup. And now we've just got main and then this branch that did nothing, stuffs and things. Oh, let me delete that because it's going to yell at me and that's useful to see. Branch -d. Oh, no, it did. Okay. I guess because I didn't have any new commits on stuffs and things. But if I did, it would have been like, wait a minute, you got unmerged.
Are you sure you want to do that, buddy?
Yeah, I do.
You do what I tell you to do.
I'm the human here, robot, computer. All right. I now await your questions, if you have any.
Excellent. Rocio and anyone else who may still be lurking about, that's what it is when you...
lurkers.
Lurking. We will await any questions. And in the meantime, I think we could have a little chitter-chatter until we see it pop up that there are questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so friggin' much. That is super helpful. I'm going to want to watch this when I have slept and like do it along with you and write a list of like, okay, these are the things and this is why, and just have it to refer to for the soon enough. This will just be stuff that I'm used to doing, right?
Indeed. That's the thing, especially with Git. It took me a long time to get used to it. And that's the thing. I will never tell anybody that I learned Git. I merely got used to operating Git. It's like a car. You don't learn the car, you just get used to driving. I mean, some people learn cars, but I
didn't. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad that that you found it helpful. I found it really helpful, and also it's just always just fun to hang out with Chris.
You're all very welcome. We should do this again. We should do this again.
I mean, I think I'm glad that you would like to do it again.
I would like to do it again, and I'm gonna get the second monitor set up so that I can see while I'm like sharing.
We're gonna have all of the stuff. I mean, maybe it's by the fifth time.
Sure.
Whatever. And I thank you so. I mean, I just can't thank you enough. I so appreciate the time that you give me, and now us. We're very, very lucky, etc. I don't think there are any questions, and I think we can end the broadcast, but
yeah, end the broadcast
and see how that goes. So if we get cut off, I will find you and we'll just chit chat a little bit.
Cool.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. Anybody who's still here, thanks for bearing with our newness to the platform and my intense tiredness, etc. You know, brain problems, sleep problems, boot camp. And just to remind myself, as I was just talking to Chris, like at some point pretty soon, this is not going to be such a big deal and we're going to know this stuff and it's just going to be like part of the work routine. But it's complicated and there's no reason that this should feel easy when it's all brand new, plus all of the other stuff we're learning. We'll get it.
You will get it. I've seen it happen.
That's right. You literally have seen it happen because you have taught people how to do it. And then some of those people some of them, many, I'm sure, like have actual jobs when they came in not knowing anything like we did.
Yes. Some of my students from like 4 years ago, they they now have titles that are like above my current title. Believe it. It's a thing.
That's fancy. Because you have a pretty tall title.
Yeah, it's
Senior Engineer 2.
2. Like
you're number 2. What?
Wait a minute. I want to get
On that note, good night, everybody. Thank you so much. We will be back. We also are going to come up with ways for you to submit questions and pet photos. I feel like they should be featured
prominently.
Yeah, like viewer mail, viewer cats, etc. Right. And while you are doing something, I'm going to see if I can find the button that you pressed to end this thing. Thanks everybody, and thanks to Chris, of course.
You're welcome.
Chris, do you see where to end this thing? Because I'm so hard. You are live, stream recording in progress.
Yeah, the last like 20 minutes of this video.
I found it. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.